Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Yancy, and I cover all things love, dating, sex, and relationships. If you are watching this, you are watching on YouTube as a replay. If you are watching this on Instagram, you are watching the live stream. So let me go ahead and post the title. All right, so this one is entitled, Interested Men Don't Require Blues Clues. Those of you who have been here, you guys know the drill. Drop your city and state so I can shout you out. Let me know where you are watching from. I'm going to be giving you guys some hopefully helpful information because a lot of times women will ask me, what do you think about this? Do you think he's interested? What about this? And there are a number of scenarios that they can give. And this is going to hopefully be something that's just cuts through it all. Good to see you, Charles. I'm glad you made one as well. We have Houston in the house. Very nice. Goldilocks says, hey, hello. We have Minneapolis. You guys, drop your city and state. I'm only going to shout out 10 and then we're going to get going. Those of you watching the replay, you can fast forward about 60 seconds because we're going to jump into it today. Let's see. Be a Better Me says North Carolina. What else? All right, guys, I have time for just a couple more. Philadelphia. Hey, I used to live in Pennsylvania. St. Louis. Very cool. Lots of family from there. We have Georgia, LA, hey, West Coast, West Side. Shout out to Cali. We have Largo, Florida, nice. And then we have, that can't be the city. The city is named Hey, or are you saying, hey, you live in New York? I'm assuming you're saying, hey, you live in New York. That'd be kind of cool if you lived in a city called Hey. Where you stay at? Hey. No, where you stay? Hey. Anyway, that was funny to me. Okay, guys, so we're going to jump into it. This video, oh, we got to shout out Montreal, Canada. She's in another state, or another country, rather, so I got to shout you out. All right, so we're going to dive into it. And he said saying, hey, okay. This is entitled, Interested Men Don't Require Blues Clues, because men are very, 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 very simple, okay? A lot of times women will say, I don't understand men's behavior, and I don't understand this and that. What you only need to understand is the simplicity of a man who is interested. I'm going to say that again for the people in the back. All you need to understand is the body language, the information, the telltale signs, rather, of a man who is interested. There are things that make me scratch my head. I'm not going to lie. I just did an interview today and we were talking about how confusing it is if you're talking to somebody and then all of a sudden they just disappear, or, you don't really have any closure or any information, rather, to know. A lot of times it's not even that deep. You haven't even talked that long to need closure, but it's just like, boom, they're gone, right? Or somebody does something that's just so weird, just unexpected, talking to a guy and he just bloop, went missing for 3 days and then just thought he could come right back in. Sorry, I had a little internet glitch. So what I want to do is I want to show people what it's supposed to look like. So if anything deters from that, you can just instinctively say, this ain't it. That's like if I tell you, this is ice cream and it's in a cone and this is what cones look like, taste like. This is what ice cream looks like. This is the texture, the taste. I don't care what else you give me. I don't need to know what the other thing is. I just know it's not ice cream, right? So I want to go over what an interested man does so that you can quickly see what he does and does not do, all right? The first thing that is actually really endearing that I have found is that if a man is interested, a lot of times it's almost instantaneous. Guys have explained it like it's almost like they look at a woman and they say, and you might think, oh, it's just because he's attracted to her. They said, no, there's a difference. There's a difference between, oh, she's beautiful, she's gorgeous. And there is just something about him being drawn to that woman, okay? I've heard that so many times. Other times it's, he has kind of an attraction, but after some conversations, he has a pretty good idea that this is somebody that he's interested in, okay? So I did so many polls. I have done so many polls over the years, and I just recently did one to see if anything has changed. And the average, I would say a generous amount of time, this is like on the high end, the longest it takes for most guys to determine if this person is someone they're interested in is, meaning they want to be exclusive with them. What would you guys guess? I'll give you guys a chance to, we'll do some audience interaction. How long would you say it takes guys typically at the high end? What's the longest it would probably take for a guy to really say, you know what, this is someone I want to deal with seriously? and I know enough about her. Let's see what your guesses are. And there's a little bit of a delay, so it's always awkward when I ask you guys a question, because then I gotta fill in the gap before it comes in. Okay, so we have one saying a month. Someone else said a week, 2 weeks. All right, let's see a couple more guesses. 4 months. All right, let's see what else you say. A week, 2 weeks, 2 weeks. Okay, I love this. So on the high end, on the long, like the long side of it, right? 3 months. And we have a guy on here, no more than a month, right? That's really being generous. So the first thing that I could tell you is, if you are dealing with a man, and I try to really give a huge margin, right? So you don't want to throw somebody away, if they, they go a week over or something like that. But right, just as a rule of thumb, as the guy said, it doesn't take all day to recognize sunshine. So if you are talking to somebody, you guys are spending quality time together, which that's going to get into something later on the list. It's not going to take him 3 months, okay? Typically what happens, and it's really precious when you are able to witness this happening, guys will fall in love. They will fall in love. They will become smitten. And I'm not talking about love bombing, right? I'm talking about genuinely liking the person. They're going to know pretty quickly that this is it. Now, at the very beginning, they have a pretty strong feeling, but they don't say anything yet. Okay, they will just kind of spend a little bit more time and then confirm. They want to confirm, like, yeah, I was right. She's it. So I want you to know that if a man has you and it's 5 months, 6 months, 8 months, and all that, he's stringing you along. Okay. Now, all these people are not necessarily bad people. There could be a number of reasons that he's not committing, and I don't want to say that these are bad people. But again, I don't care why. I just care that your time is being wasted. So let's keep it 100. Women who have not had their children, their biological clock is ticking. That we're on a schedule here, okay? So what's Beyonce say? If you liked it, then you should have put a ring on it. So if he has not, and I'm talking about 3 months now, if he has not at least said, hey, I really want to see where we can take this. I'm super focused on you. You're the only person I'm focusing on. I want to see what this could be. And you're sticking around 6 months, 8 months, a year, 2 years. Guess who is the only person wasting your time? Okay, so if you are somebody who is interested, and you're dating with you are dating with a purpose, you are out there trying to find a mate. I'm not saying you're going to settle down and rush into marriage, but the person should at least know that they're ready to take the first step, which is to focus their energy 100% on you. And if you're interested, you would focus 100% of your energy on them. Okay, so it doesn't take all day. It does not take all day. The second thing is that even before he says, I want to be exclusive with you, he is going to have consistent communication. In marketing, it's called top of the mind awareness. A brand will not come, drop one ad, and then hope that their sales are going to last. It's because they want to stay on top of the mind, the consumer's mind, the potential consumer's mind, which is why it's called top of the mind awareness. So in a similar way, a guy is going to want to make sure he stays there. He doesn't know who else is talking to you because you haven't committed to each other yet, right? He wants to make sure his presence is known. And on top of that, he's excited to talk to you. He's excited to see you. And so he is not going to want to risk letting you be gone out of his sight for a week at a time or something like that, okay? He said, mine would say good morning, and that was it. And you can see too, right? Some people will do the absolute minimum. Sorry guys for shaking the camera on just this. Some guys will do the absolute minimum. And this is where your intuition comes in. This is where your discernment comes in. A lot of times, and this is going to be a little bit of a detour. A lot of times guys think that we have a problem, literally have a problem with the text, what are you doing? Or worse, WYD, right? It is not the actual text that is the problem. And I'll tell you why. If there is a man who is giving you consistent attention, you guys are talking regularly, you're going out, every week, maybe twice a week, and then from time to time throughout the day, he's like, hey, what are you doing? Or WYD. And you're like, nothing, babe, or working hard, whatever your response is, right? That's fine. The reason that women, myself included, get triggered by the WYD texters is because that is typically all the guy does. Or he just says good morning and he's like, yeah, I did my work for the day. No, sir. You just made yourself look basic. Okay? So those of you who follow my page, you understand that there are levels to this. And we don't just take the basics, because guess what? That guy could be just shooting this out, that same message out to a bunch of people. He's thinking that he's keeping the fish on the hook. And no, a real man is going to want to, and I hate using that term, you guys, so apologize. An interested man is going to want to hear your voice. And hearing your voice is not going to satisfy him for too long. He's going to want to see your face. He's going to want to be in your presence. He's going to want to touch your soft skin. Okay? He's going to want to look into your eyes, possibly taste your lips if it's been, the appropriate amount of time, right? So all of this, oh, we just text, or I'm just not really a phone person or whatever. He needs to be doing something, because a real man is just, it's natural. Okay? Can you save this live, please? Oh, so for the newbies, my live streams, I post on YouTube after. Give me like 24 hours because it's like a whole process. But I post it on YouTube. That way it's easier to maneuver over there. You could pause, fast forward, whatever, put chapters, the whole nine, okay? And Instagram just gets lost in the feed. So go ahead and just check it out on YouTube. And typically I post in my stories the link to the YouTube live stream, so you could just bloop, hit it and be there. Speaking of uploading, I'm actually waiting right now for my computer to finish uploading. I'm at 87%. My femininity video, don't worry ladies, I am still sending out the link. I just got a super late start, but it is a whole process, getting the video, editing it, cleaning it up, downloading it, then uploading it to YouTube, and then sending out the link. So it is coming. I'm going to do my best to get it out before I go to bed tonight. So for sure you should be able to see this in the morning. Okay, anywho, back to the regularly scheduled program. The second thing is he is going to be consistent. And if you just tuned in, let me recap. It doesn't take him months and months and months and months of knowing what he wants from a woman. And by the way, if you guys have questions, it looks like my OGs know the drill. Put them in the question box, please, because otherwise they float up the river of comments. He is going to be consistent with communication. Okay, he's going to want to see you on a regular basis. And number three, actually that was number three. Number three is he's going to want to see you. Okay, so even if you guys are long distance, I had a friend of mine tell me, he's like, man, most guys, if they meet someone online and they are serious, they're going to want to see her possibly as soon as two weeks. Okay. So, when y'all are like really feeling each other and heavy, like 2 weeks feels like eternity. But if he has it like that, he can afford a little, Southwest ticket or whatever. He's either going to fly to you, you're going to fly to him or something. He is going to want to be in person with you. Okay. So whatever these excuses men make, you could just be like to yourself. You don't have to disrespect him, right? But you'd be like, because you know better. All right. This is the stuff that daddies teach their daughters. Big brothers give game to little sisters. Okay. Good friends give each other. So y'all just tuck this information into your hats. And again, none of this stuff is stuff where you should just cut the person off, be like, nah, but put it in your little book. Because what do? We observe for 90 days, right? We are on high alert for 90 days because we know during that time we are drunk on the love chemicals, okay? We are tripping out in our head for the first 3 months. We're kind of intoxicated. So we need to be objective and take notes and be like, okay, noted. We have not talked yet and it has been 8 days. He is only texting or whatever it is, right? So just keep your little journal like Dora the Explorer. And then if too many of them add up, come on now, let's call it spade a spade, right? Number 4, what he won't do, he will not go missing for days. Days? No, he is not going to go missing for days. Now, some people will get defensive and they'll say like, oh, we're not exclusive, or I don't have to talk to you every day. Have to. I'm sorry, but it is a privilege, in my little opinion, to talk to me. So if you feel like it's an obligation, something that you need to check off your list, do us both a favor and just go ahead and delete my number, boo-boo, because I am good. I want someone who is pressed to talk to me, okay? So I wouldn't even call somebody out. I absolutely would not call somebody out and be like, how come you haven't talked to me in a couple of days? This is why I say for the first 90 days, especially, not that you stop after 90, but for the first 90 days especially, observe, observe, observe. You do not tell him what you want. You do not tell him what you're looking for. You observe. You want to see how he moves, right? Observe him in his natural habitat. How does he move naturally without any input from you? Okay? Because this is like bare minimum at this point. So he will not go missing for days. And to me, if someone is seriously interested, and let's just say they're going to be out of town or there's going to be a normal break in communication, a normal functioning mature adult is going to be like, hey, Shaniqua, I have a family reunion coming up and I'll probably won't be as plugged into my phone, but I'm going to make sure I hit you before I go to bed. Whatever, right? We've all been there. It's not just going to be like, I talked to you Thursday and I just pop back up on Monday. No, it's not how it works. Have several seats, okay? The next thing is on the list, he is going to be concerned with how you are feeling. He is going to care. He is going to be perceptive, right? There are guys who you could sit there and cry in front of and they'll be like, are you done? Because I want to get back to the game. A man who is interested is going to be hypersensitive to you and will want to make sure he's not doing anything that will diminish his ability to pull you. Okay? He is trying to seal the deal, and I don't mean sexually. He is trying to make sure he is doing everything right, even if he looks like he's cool as a cucumber. If he really likes you, he is going to be concerned. So don't hesitate to speak up if there's something that makes you, let's just say, uncomfortable. And I know it might sound like it's a little bit of a contradiction, but don't show him like how to love you, right? Saying, oh, you need to do this and you do that. But if there's something that makes you uncomfortable, go ahead and speak up. And a guy who's truly interested is not going to be offended and be like, oh, how are you going to tell me what's what? He is going to be like, oh, bet, let me switch this up. True story. I had a guy and he made a lot of sexual jokes when I first got to know him. And he had a lot of, not a lot, but he had profanity. And for me, it's just a turnoff. I just see a lack of profanity. It just seems more polished. You just seem more sophisticated, what have you. And so I'm not going to lie, it was a little awkward, like telling somebody, who was pursuing me. But he was like, look, I do not want to make you uncomfortable. I noted, he's like, I might slip from time to time, but trust me, I'm going to do my best to not do that. And so his reaction told me everything. When he, if you give feedback, especially if it's something that's saying, I'm not comfortable with that, right? Or let's just say you guys are kissing and he thinks it's okay to slide his hand up, whatever. He might not be a whole creep, but the men don't always know when it's okay and when it's not. So if you speak up and he's like, oh my God, you're being such a prude, or it's already been a month, what's your problem? If he has any reaction other than, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I misread the room or what have you, we'll go at your pace, then be alerted, okay? He would be concerned with how you feel and he wants to make sure you're comfortable, okay? So make sure you guys put your questions in the question box so I can answer them all at once at the end, okay? The next one is he is going to have a fear of losing you, okay? It's not a fear like he's a scaredy cat or he's, some wimpy guy, but there's going to be like a healthy fear, right? Like there is a healthy fear you have of your principal when you're a kid, or a healthy fear you have of maybe your parents if you're going to get in trouble or whatever. Oh, that's cute. She said, oh, my poor lady ears. But there should be a healthy fear. He should be somewhat nervous to lose you. And you want that. You want someone to double, think twice about stuff like, oh, is this going to offend her? Is this going to put me in jeopardy? You want him to be on his toes. You never want a guy who's like, man, she ain't going nowhere. She good. So you want to see if the person is concerned with your feedback. And also, this is something huge when it comes to a relationship. I'm sure you've all had a person who you did not have healthy communication with, and when you would say things, they would either dismiss you, say you're making too big of a deal, or turn around and be like, well, you did this. I don't like when you do this. Like, well, okay, well, we were talking about this. You want to make sure that he's starting to show the healthy habits of a good partner, okay? And then this is the last thing. What are we on? I don't know, like 6 or 7. He's going to move rather quickly. And I have to give a lot of context with this. There is a difference between a love bomber and someone who's truly interested. And to the point, I got proposed to within 3 months of meeting my now ex-husband. But when you know, right? It's that type of a thing. Or at least I should say he knew. Ironic because I'm divorced, right? So maybe I didn't know. But when you want to marry someone, it doesn't take a long time to figure out that you want to marry them. But the thing is, the difference between a love bomber and a healthy relationship is that the man will try to pressure you. When you're in a healthy situation, both of you will be on the same page. He'll be taking temperature checks and you will be giving him the green light, and everything will feel organic, like it's flowing naturally. When you are being love bombed, this person is, expressing things that is not even realistic. Like it's the second date and he's talking about I love you. How do you love me and you don't even know my life? You've never seen me angry. You've never seen me happy. You've never seen me sad. Like we haven't gone through anything. So when they prematurely are making professions, I'm talking in the first couple of days, even the first couple of weeks, because even if he's feeling that, most guys are not going to say it up front because they don't want to scare you off. But he will try to pressure you. He will try really, really hard to get you to commit whether you're comfortable or not. And he will want to keep saying, like, if you like me, you're going to do this. If you like me, you're going to do that. A person who's healthy is, and is looking for a normal relationship is going to want to make sure that they are going at the same pace that their partner, potential partner, is comfortable with. Okay? So, bottom line is this. If there is confusion, if you need some blues clues, if you feel like you need to call Nancy Drew, if you feel like this is just so confusing, every other day you're calling your girlfriend and you're like, look, he said this, he did that. What does this mean? I'm not sure if he... If you're having to do all this stuff, chances are that there's a reason he's giving you his energy, but he's not that into you. This is what is so confusing to women. They look at it like it's black and white because for most of them, yes, Inspector Gadget, for most women, they don't want to be bothered with someone that they're not interested in, right? Unless it's an unhealthy situation. If it's unhealthy, she's looking at him for what he can buy for her, what he can do for her, want to be intimate with him, right? There are reasons why certain women want to keep guys around who they don't want a relationship with. But for a normal, healthy woman, if we're not attracted to you, if we're not wanting a relationship with you, we don't want to be dealing with you, right? We're like, okay, shoo. So it's confusing to a woman if there's a guy who is sticking around, he's calling you, he's texting you, he's going out with you, he wants to be intimate with you, and he's saying all these compliments to you, it's like, well, obviously he likes me. No. Doesn't always mean that. There are men who could stick around for years, and it could just be because they like being intimate with you. There are some guys who enjoy your company, but they don't like you enough to propose or be your boyfriend. So they kind of get the, it's like a situationship. They kind of get the benefits of the relationship, but they get to do what? Guess what? They get to keep their eyes open. So they're going to date you until they meet the girlfriend that they want. Or they'll date you until they meet the wife that they want to propose to. So you need to make sure that he is not treating you like a backup, an option. We have to just open our eyes, right? Fun girl, exactly. We got to open our eyes, ladies. And a lot of times, God has given us the gift of intuition and discernment. We just don't listen to, or we just don't follow it, right? And this was in my class. I was talking about certain things, and they said, yeah, I created boundaries. I decided the things that are outside my boundaries, but I just don't enforce them. What's the point of having a fence if you don't install it? What's the point of putting a security system if you don't install it? What's the point of having a gun if you don't load it? You absolutely have to be prepared to cut people out when they don't do what they need to do. And so if you have never had the pleasure of being courted by somebody, you don't have to like him back. But if you've never had the pleasure of a guy courting you, you will not understand the lengths to which men will go to make sure that you choose them back. It is very sweet. It is very flattering. It is very awesome. And if you like him back, it's incredible. So at the end of the day, stop trying to make a man like you. And I would also say this. If a man does not choose you, Do not confuse that with a lack of self-worth. And this is how I help people to understand that this is the case. How many guys have you dated where there's nothing wrong with them per se? You would actually go so far as to maybe recommend them to a friend of yours because it just didn't do it for you, but you just didn't feel that connection. Okay? So that's the same way it is for guys sometimes. They're just not feeling the connection. And it doesn't mean you have to go out and change your life or there's something horrible or whatever. It's just not there for him. He says, don't make him the bad guy when he does express he isn't interested. Now, here's the thing. That is actually amazing if a guy says that. If a guy says, hey, I don't want to commit to anything. I just want to, whatever. He explains himself. Please, for the love of God, do not try to beg him. Do not try to beg him. Do not try to make it awkward, because it is amazing when the men do speak up and share. Do you know how many guys just ghost and don't say anything, and then you have all these unanswered questions? If he is doing the courtesy of saying, hey, this is not what I'm looking for, don't try to change his mind. Especially if he says, I don't want a relationship, I don't want something serious. Do not ever try to impress him. Like, that is absolutely ridiculous. That is the equivalent of me being a restaurateur and someone says, nah, I don't want to pay for lunch, so I just keep giving them free food, hoping that if I can cook the food delicious enough that one day they will want to be a paying customer. Yeah, it doesn't work like that. They either are going to come in and want to buy something or they're not. Okay? Thank you so much. I appreciate that. All right, so let me get into these questions, and then your girl is going to go eat. Oh, Lord, y'all have a lot of questions. Okay, so we're going to just go through these quickly. Let me just look at this message. All right. Hopefully I'm going in order. After texting consistently, how long should you wait for a first call? So this is not an exact science. So I'm not going to act like it is. But I would say if a man is really interested in you and he, you're talking about texting, and then you're having consistent texting, and then he's calling. Okay. My brain went to you guys exchange numbers. Okay. But if you're texting, I would say in the first couple of days, that should at least be a question. He should at least ask. I have had guys say, hey, what do you like? What do you prefer? I actually thought that was amazing when a guy said that. He's like, do you like FaceTiming? Do you like calling? Do you like texting? And I was able to say, hey, this is, I said, what did I say? I said, I love phone calls, especially FaceTimes with texts peppered in between. Texts are cool for, just quick conversations. But most guys will want to know, like, what you're comfortable with. So I would say he should probably bring it up in the first day or two. And the reason why I give a day or two is because some guys don't want to rub you the wrong way. Remember I said they're going to be worried about doing something wrong. So some women don't like talking on the phone, and they have made men feel like they did something wrong. So it's like all these women are saying all these different things, and so it could be confusing. Sorry guys, I'm messaging. It could be he doesn't know what you prefer. So I would say if he goes like more than a week without calling you, for sure that's weird. But I would say like give him at least a day or two to kind of figure out what your preference is. Okay. Thoughts on long distance courting? Hate it. Next question. Just playing. Not really. I don't like it. And my buddy Troy said something, I wish I remember all three, but he said if you're going to do long distance, you need to have a plan. Like this cannot just be for eternity. Like, oh, we'll figure it out. Like there needs to be a 6-month plan, year plan, whatever. 2, you need to have money, because if you are not seeing each other on a regular basis, it's going to be a problem. And so it takes coins to be able to, see each other. And I can't remember what the third thing is, but yeah, I would recommend that if you are dating long distance, make sure you meet in person early on, and as much as possible try to see that person's life, because people can hide a lot of stuff. So I would just say as soon as you can get to where you guys have a plan where you can both be in the same city. like permanently. Based off of what you said earlier, what if the man wants to learn you and asks you to teach him? Would you consider this a bad thing? And this is kind of hard to answer just as a blanket statement, but it depends on what it is. It depends on what it is. So if he asks you specifically, like, hey, like I just mentioned with the call thing, hey, what do you like? Yeah, I'm gonna tell him what I like. So if he's showing that initiative, I feel like that is a positive thing. He really wants to see, do you like to do sporting events, or do you prefer to go to the movies? That kind of stuff is okay. But I would not come in and be like, here's the manual on how to woo me. She said, I'm not a fan of long distance. Okay. The term when you know is determined by a spark, a pulling energy. Can the feeling be described by men? Oh, I think you're asking the guys. If you're asking the guys, can they be described by men? So guys, feel free to share. Actually, feel free to put it in the question queue, even though it's not a question, and answer that so that it could stay here. Okay, why do you think a man would lie about his age? Ooh, I would say he's insecure. I just feel like anybody who, I think lying is manipulation. So I would say, just off top, I feel like that is selfish. Anyone who lies is trying to manipulate. They're trying to control the outcome because of what they think somebody will do with the false information. I wouldn't trust somebody. That's just weird to me. Like, you met me and you gave me information that I probably wouldn't even care about, to be honest. And yeah, that's weird. So I would be turned off, to be honest. Like, lying is just, I hate lying. And I hate when somebody's trying to control the situation. Like, I have something when I date that I feel is information that anybody should know, and I will say it on the first conversation. And I just say there's need to know information, and if you want to continue after this, then God bless you. If not, cool. And I have had people who are like, yeah, I'm gonna tap out, and that's great, but if you feel like you need to trick someone, or like, that's not cute. I don't like that. Don't like that for you. Why are older women difficult to handle? Well, that is making an assumption that they are, which I don't believe so. I think that some people are difficult to handle, but I would not say older women are. So we're just going to go ahead and move on to the next question. A man doesn't call or text or call a lot and go silent for 2 to 3 days between dates, but he alludes he wants to see me the following week and sets a date and time. Interested man or not? That's a tough one. That is really a tough one. I would give him more time before the date. If you took it, I would give him more time to show himself. I might make a comment and say, oh, you still have my number. I'm smart like that, right? I would be playful, but that's like a, I see you. Okay. So I would say something like that. LOL, I guess, oh, you do have my number, or, oh, you're still alive. Oh, okay. I didn't have to come to your service. Like, let him know that was a big gap. And maybe if you give him a second date, you can have a conversation. But I would do something playful. You never want to come across like somebody's mom, really stern or whatever, but you can express that something is like, But keep that in your little notebook. Keep that, okay, with MIA for this many days between the dates. And then see if it becomes a pattern, okay? In your opinion, how would you describe the sureness? For me, the sureness was there not being anything kind of gnawing at me. Everyone else, like, I have dated, there's usually a thing that I'm like, and I feel like I felt like I was making an excuse for it. And I will say this as kind of like a disclaimer. I truly think that if I was a more mature person, I would have been able to navigate the hurdles that we came across as husband and wife. Because on paper, amazing guy. So I have to put that, disclaimer in there. But it was like this, parents didn't have any red flags go off. I felt totally at peace when I was around him. For me, it's like, it's not so much a thing that you that you achieve this feeling, it's a lack of radar, like it's a lack of sirens going off. That was like weird to say. It's like normally you're like and then it just becomes this knowing, like all the questions are answered. It would be this similar to if you were making a big purchase, like buying a car or something like that. You're gonna do your research, you're gonna try different cars out, and then you get to one and you're like, yeah, I can handle the payments, I like how it rides, the reviews are great, da da da. Okay, it's like everything is flowing. That's the best way I would describe it. Why do most single women always make their Instagram page private? Again, I don't know about most. However, people use Instagram for all different reasons. I had somebody mention something before about like, oh, people don't post family photos, and that's a red flag for me with women, because I asked what's something that makes you skeptical with women. And people use it for all different reasons. So sometimes people have Instagram and they are very private. They don't need other people to see. It's not like me where I am running a business and sharing public information. I have a private page too. My page is private. That is where my kids are. That is where, I keep in touch with family members and loved ones and things like that. And I'm only following like 3 people. Just playing, I'm exaggerating. But I am just there to connect with people. So I actually think it's a beautiful thing when a woman has her page private, because if you're in, you're in. And for me, like on my private page, I don't feel the need to add a perfect stranger. So if a guy is just, if he's interested in me and he just really wants to see my page, I might let him see that if I was in that situation. I actually think I've had somebody ask me about my page, and I was like, yeah, I'm not comfortable. I'm not like that. That's really private to me. It's like asking someone to come to your family barbecue and we just met, sir. So I wouldn't look at it as like a negative thing or a red flag. But for me, if I wanted to see somebody's pictures or something like that, I would just ask them to either send me pictures, or I would do a FaceTime with them or a video chat. So he said a woman with a private page is a plus. She's not easily accessible, and I like that. You said it perfectly. I was trying to say I think it's a good thing. That is why. She's not out here thirst trapping and all this stuff. Okay, so I'm going to answer 2 more questions, and then I got a jam. It's been 4 days and no call yet, only text. Oh, you got text. Well, at least he's communicating. I would look to see the nature of the text, right? Is he just doing like the basics, GM, good morning, or is he trying, because you can't really have conversations. I would also want to know, I would also consider how long it has been. So, and also consider how much you're digging him so far. A lot of times I think we as women fall for the hope of what the guy could be. We fall for the fantasy. Like, he looks good on the outside. His personality is kind of cool. Man, this could be amazing. But he hasn't shown you amazing. He hasn't shown you that he's head over heels for you. So I would say just keep observing. Again, I'm not saying, if any one of these things happen, just kick that guy to the curb. It's like, no, have high alert. Put him in the red folder. Keep him on high alert and make sure that he is doing what it takes to show you that he is interested. And at the very, 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 very beginning, right, you want to get a feel for where he is. To me, after there's a certain point, I don't know, it's like, it's not 100%, 2 weeks exactly, but at a certain point, I am comfortable saying, hey, it's kind of hard for me to get to know you through text. Are you cool with calling? But I say that with because in my experience, the men who are truly interested, they're not texting. They're not. Like, they're texting in between calls, okay? All right, y'all snuck in another one. Okay, let's see. Is it okay to move in with a guy after a few weeks due to convenient housing arrangements? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Nope. And it's not about okay or not okay. It is just a bad. It's not about bad. It is not smart. It is not wise. It is so not wise, because you are literally committing. Like, there is no bigger commitment outside of marriage than living with somebody. That is your place. If he pisses you off, if he shows you that he's not qualified, like, I don't even know if a guy could be my boyfriend in 2 weeks. let alone living with the person. So you have nowhere to run. If he wants to act a fool and, lock you out or whatever, like, that is just such a bad idea. You should never, ever, 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 ever make a decision with a guy out of trying to solve a problem or no. There are so many other people you could find to be your roommate. Like, I would recommend you finding a chick on Craigslist before, that sounds terrible, to be a roommate with. I can't even stress, no, hard enough. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Okay. All right, y'all are not being fair. You're sneaking them in. I said that was it for the last 2 questions. Let me just see here. No. I'm triggered by that question. Sorry, y'all. If someone's constantly talking about your looks, calling you beautiful, is he being flattering or is that concerning? I think for me, I like the compliments and they're sweet and there's nothing wrong with them. However, if that's the only thing he talks about, I become alarmed. There are some guys who just have no depth to them and it's just a physical attraction. So either they don't have conversation skills, or it could be that they're just into you physically, or it could be a combination of both. But if that's all he talks about, then it would become a red flag. But some guys are just very complimentary, and you could just say, oh, thank you so much. But if that's all he's doing and there are no other actions, then I would be concerned. So, okay, for real, this is the last question I'm going to answer, y'all. It's so hard for me to ignore a question that come in. Does the guy ask for the number? Absolutely. If you want a masculine man, let him make all the first moves. First date questions that aren't probing but are insightful. Here's the thing I would say for women. On dates 1 and 2, and I'm kind of contradicting myself a little bit from stuff I've said in the past, you could possibly say. But the more I understand about men, they fall in love when they have good experiences. So in the past, I've been like, I don't want to waste my time. I want to know this stuff beforehand. But you can kind of get a sense for somebody over the phone. When you actually get to the date, I would say don't even worry about asking questions. Literally be in the moment and enjoy each other. Allow him to enjoy you. Allow you to enjoy him. And then those things will come out. A lot of times guys will say that a girl seems great, she's beautiful, but doggone, she comes in with like interview style, right? And it's hard to hide that, like, because we really are like, oh, let me go through my checklist, okay? But the dates should be fun. So if you've talked to him long enough to where you feel comfortable going on a date, enjoy it. You should be spending time laughing, just being silly, being playful. And I know I have guys watching this live. So guys, what do you think? Would you feel like it was weird if a woman didn't ask any questions? Right? So if I were to ask questions, I would ask questions that allow him to shine. I would ask questions that allow him to talk about himself, because that's good conversation skills. When you allow someone to talk about themselves, it feels good to that person, right? We're all a little bit egotistical that way. So if someone's pulling something out of you, it just feels good to be able to share. So have fun and let the focus kind of be more on him, because men are not looking for stuff from women. They're looking for an experience from women. They're looking to feel good around them, right? Especially if they're successful. They're not looking for a woman to do stuff for them. They're looking for a woman to feel and bring this amazing energy. So be that amazing, vibrant energy, okay? And then let things kind of unfold. Asking questions and interrogation is all in the delivery. You have to know the difference. Yeah. So I would just say err on the side of caution and just focus on being feminine, being fun, being cute, and being playful and flirtatious, right? There's too much seriousness. My God. All right, guys. Anyway, I'm going to run, and I will be back for another live stream at some point. Remember to follow me on YouTube if you want to be able to watch all of my live streams at your leisure. And it will probably be uploaded by tomorrow, because this class got downloaded finally, so now I have to upload to YouTube. Anywho, I will see you. The link is in my bio for YouTube. Check my story for the link to YouTube, specifically to the video. She said it was very insightful. Awesome. That is my goal. Love you guys. I will see you next time.